everyone, welcome to Dashiell Soy Virtual Kitchen. I'm here today to share with you my favorite 15-minute soup. This is the soup that my mom used to make for me when I'm sick. And when I taught this to my friends, they eventually call it the feel better soup because every time they make this and eat, they just feel like it's a warm hug to their body, and this is especially important in times like this where we can all use a little bit more of a hug. So this soup is really simple to make. What you need is a medium-sized pot and some vegetable oil that you're going to, once you turn on to the medium heat, you can squeeze a little bit of oil in there. So we're going to hay wok with a bit of shallot. So hay wok is a Cantonese term which basically means to get the pot going. So I have a shallot here which I probably don't need the whole thing. So I'm going to cut probably half of this. So I'm gonna chop up some shallot. If you don't have shallots, you can replace this with the white part of the scallion. So that's a great substitute. So I'm just gonna run my knife through probably a tablespoon of shallots that you see here. So the pot is quite hot, so I'm gonna put that in right away. So I've been sharing this soup it checks all the points. It's easy to make, it's delicious, it's really cheap and modest because all it needs is sweet potato as the main ingredients, and everything else is kind of good to have. I would say green onions and sweet potato are the two main that you need. So after I put the shallot in here with a bit of oil, I'm going to add water. So how much? 1 cup, 2 cups, maybe 3 cups, roughly. So what I'm doing, I'll do a little bit more. I think about 3 cups. So what I'm doing here is creating one portion for myself. Very scalable. You can make more of this if you are making for a bigger family or if you have a bigger appetite. So as I was saying, I am going to now put the main ingredients in. So I got some organic sweet potato. So this is a special, so I chopped this before, so it has a bit of oxidizing. So if I chop that out, you will see that it's a special sweet potato that is light brown on the outside and sort of light pale yellow on the inside. And it's called Hana yam in some shops in Seattle, called sweet potato in some, but it's not the red types or orange type. So it's very important that you find the right sweet potato for this because it doesn't work if it's the other type. My mom always and only used this. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing the water to a boil, and I'm still on sort of medium heat at the moment. So once you get that going, because I got organic yam, organic sweet potato I should say, I'm not going to peel it because there's a lot of nutrients in the skin as well. And I want to show you how I chop sweet potato. So I don't chop it all the way through. I slice my knife sort of halfway, and then I turn my knife to snap it open. And I do that while rotating my sweet potato as well. This is sort of a very Chinese way of chopping sweet potato or carrots because it's a way that you can do sort of irregular shaped vegetable. It's a very easy way to eyeball sort of roughly equal sizes, and also the snapping gives it sort of an uneven surface so that it cooks faster. So I'm gonna, about that much, so a cup and a half roughly. So you saw how much I put in. So now that it's boiling, I'm going to cover it and just have it cook for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to set a timer. And then check it during that time. So once that's in, I'm going to talk about what else I'm going to put in. In terms of ingredients, I am adding something that I really love. So it's goji berries. This has been sort of praised as like a superfood a couple years ago, but it's been well loved in our family and used for thousands of years in Chinese cooking. And it comes dry, unless you are lucky enough to actually get this fresh, but very unlikely. So you buy this dry, and it adds a really great sweetness to the soup. And I love cooking with my eyes, meaning when I look at a dish, I think about what other colors I can add to it so that it's pleasing to the eye and also flavor. So since this is slightly sweet and a little bit of acidity because they are berries, I thought it really balanced well with the sweet potato. So that's what I put in my soup. And it's also very good for your eyes. So for times like this, where we're always waking up with a device, spending most of our time either on your own computer or on a device of some sort, and then a lot of times resting in the evening, sitting in front of the TV. Our eyes is just being abused by devices, and it's good to take care of them. So goji berries are good for eyes. You can add that simply by taking about 1 tablespoon or a little bit more. Rinse it under cold tap water just to get rid of any dust or impurities, and put it through just to drain it. And that's it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to soak it. It cooks really quickly, and you add it at the very end. So now that that's already been treated, that's all you need. And I'm going to add also for color and for vitamin C. Remember I said this is something I cook when I'm sick. So I'm going to snap, this is scallion that I've been growing by my window. This is new growth, these pointy ones, and then the sad looking ones are kind of what I had before. So I'm going to add just, again, not going to be too accurate about measurement, but since this is one portion, and I love scallion, I'm just going to add a little bit like that. And you can chop it just sort of like so, or you can be fancy and cut it at an angle. So the other story I like to tell about goji berries is because it's very good for your eyes. When I was young, growing up in Hong Kong, my mom would steam 12 goji berries on a plate on top of rice. 12 for me and 12 for my sister during exam time. And we would, before we eat anything else for dinner, we would have to use our chopsticks and pick out 12 goji berries for each of us and eat that first before we eat anything else, because it's supposed to be good for your eyes. And during exam time, we're studying for supposedly many hours, and so we just need to stay focused and be alert and be able to study through all those exams. So that's what we used to do, and sort of my first memory of goji berries. I'm going to check the time to see where we are with the timing. About 1 minute left. This is cooking really well. So I'm going to talk about the flavor. So I did mention to a lot of folks that this is plant-based. So far nothing is not plant-based. So for flavor, you can simply use salt, very good. Or if you have the Trader Joe's mushroom powder, that's a great flavor for this. It kind of just adds that umami flavor. And I am going to use some chicken bouillon powder. And there are non-chicken or no chicken bouillon powder that you can use. Vegetable bouillon, a lot of those just to add a bit of umami. That is what I'm going for once this has been cooked through. And we have 26 seconds left, so I'm just going to turn that off and check where we are. Do we have any questions? How are you guys doing?
I have a question for you. So could you possibly, instead of using water, would it be okay to use broth, like a rich vegetable broth or mushroom?
Of course, yes. But I want to show you like an easier. So the question, if everyone can catch, is can we use stock for this soup? Of course you can. it will add flavor to it. That could be where the umami comes from. And so whatever you have, even if it's from a can or if you make your own stock, that would be super delicious. So Jia, thank you for that. That would be something it's just that a lot of times when I'm sick, I don't have all the things I have in my pantry, and I want to make that version for you today so that you can then add whatever you want to make it even better. Does that answer your question, JJ?
Yeah, and I like the point that you're making that it can be pantry food, really. Sweet potatoes last for a very long time, so.
Yeah.
And goji berries. I have probably about 5 pounds you gave me in the back of my pantry somewhere.
I know, and they're still good. As long as you keep it in an airtight container. So I am going to check the doneness of my sweet potato. And another reason why I like not peeling my sweet potatoes, it adds additional color to it. So I'm just trying to see, yep. So I can already break it through using just this spoon. So I'm gonna bring it further up to a boil since it was kind of quiet during this thing. So now I'm just going to add the rest of the ingredients. So I am going to add a little bit of the chicken bouillon. So with that much water, probably half a teaspoon would be more than enough. And then we're going to taste as well. I'm not going to do the salt because this is quite salty. And I'm going to add the berries. And taste it first before I add the scallion. And then the shallot also is purple, so you have all colors. It's amazing how delicious this soup is with so simple ingredients. And if you don't have goji berries, just skip it. You don't really need it. I would say if you want the color and you can take heat, then a little bit of chili, sort of thinly sliced chili, like what do you call it? Just thinly sliced circles would work to give it a pop of color. But you don't need it. And so another tip for you when I'm sick is that I tend to get a sore throat when I'm sick, and so I don't actually want any oil in my food. So the way I cook this soup when I am sick is I don't even do the hay wok. So I don't put oil and the shallot at the beginning of the step. So I jump right into boiling my water, and while that's boiling, I will cut my sweet potato and add that in. So same process, I just skip the shallot and the oil part. And that is something to me really help with sore throat, is not to have any oil in my food. Okay, now that you can see it's boiling, I'm gonna add the green onions. And this is pretty much done. And green onions has vitamin C as well. So everything in here, the sweet potato, it's less sugar, has vitamin C, a lot of fiber compared to the orange version of this sweet potato. So it's really important that you find the right one, because this is what makes you feel good. Okay, so this is done. I want to scoop out a little bit and just show you the result. Can you believe how easy this is? And it smells amazing in here. Okay, so I just scoop some out. And I'm gonna try and tilt it so you can see. You see all the colors. And the sweet potato is filling. And just eating that would fill me up if I'm sick. So this is it. If you want to drop off, basically this is the soup that I want to show you today. I hope you would give it a try and have something that is nutritious to your body, something that you feel good eating at the moment and also immediately after. Give your body a hug that it deserves.